Hi, I'm Elvira Boulay from the Dimitrov Boulay Piano Duo, and today I want to give you a few tips to improve playing your left and right hand together. So the first tip that I have, no matter what piece you're playing, make sure that you practice your left and right hand separately. It's really many times that I see my students kind of knowing their left hand and kind of knowing their right hand, and then just being really frustrated when they're not able to play their hands well together. Make sure that you 100%, even 110% know your left hand and your right hand separately. Which brings me to tip number 2, practice with the metronome. I think that practicing with a metronome, especially practicing with the metronome hands separate, really gives you a lot of focus and really helps you make sure that you know your left and right hand separately. Very often when you're practicing, you don't notice the amount of time that you're taking. For example, if you're doubting about a note or doubting about a fingering, you take a fraction of time more. This goes unnoticeable if you're practicing separate hands, right? It doesn't matter if you're playing only left hand, you don't have to wait for your right hand. But when you try to play your hands together and you doubt in that same spot and you doubt what you're going to play with the left hand, your right hand already played what it needed to play and your hands are not together. So practicing with a metronome helps you weed out those spots where you're unknowingly taking time and helps you really get those hands spot on time so that you're ready to play your hands together perfectly. Okay, now that you practice your hands separately and you've practiced your hands separately with metronome, making sure that you don't doubt in any place, you don't take any time that you don't want to take, it's time for an exercise playing hands together. So one of the best exercises I think to improve playing your hands together, to improve your coordination, would be to take a bar. Let me take a piece of music. Here I have Beethoven's Waldstein Sonata, and the exercise would be play one bar and play the first note of the next bar, but stop on it. So for example, we have here, that is the first note, right hand and left hand, not literally obviously because left hand is playing more notes, but the first note of the next bar. So once again, we play one bar and the first of the next. And you stop. So stopping on the first note of the next bar allows you kind of to catch up with your brain. One of the reasons why we sometimes have, the hands not wanting to play together is because it's like your hands kind of are doing something and your brain is lagging behind. So if you stop on the next note of the first bar, you allow your brain to catch up and you also allow that check. So you allow that check to see if your hands are still together. Very often you would see that your hands start getting separate from each other. They start doing their own things, they're not on time, but you will actually notice a fraction of a second late. So this allows you for your brain to catch up, but also to check, are they still together? And if you train that, and you do that a lot, for example, the coming weeks, you do this exercise a lot, you will start teaching your brain to always do that check while you're playing, to always check, are my hands still together? So you can do the same with the next bar, right? Let me see what I'm playing. And you stop, and you say, are my hands still together? Now, I would do that for a period of time, and if you feel that the exercise is getting easy, it's very simple, you just extend it. So instead of doing one bar and stopping on the next note, you would do 2 bars and stopping on the next note. So you would do, and you would stop. And you guessed it, of course, as soon as that gets easy, you're just going to take bigger and bigger sections until you really teach your brain and your hands to play together and to always check and listen if they are still together. Lastly, a great tip for if you're not that advanced yet, Czerny Opus 139 has 100 progressive etudes that I feel really help with your hand coordination. He really knows very well what kind of etudes to write to improve your general technique. So you can always take a look at that and go through all 100 of them. That will definitely help you out with coordination as well. I hope that these tips were useful to you. As always, let us know if we can help you with anything else. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Dimitar's music. I will link it in the description box below for you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.